Hello, everybody. Welcome to New Forest Morphs. This is our first premiere live show, and I'd like to welcome all you guys to the show. Thank you so much for your love and support. Tonight we have a really special guest. It's Adam from Proper Balls, which I think a lot of you will know. He was the one that got me into this because I had my first live show with him literally just a few weeks ago, and so really looking forward to catching up again with Adam. And we'll start off first of all by just doing his intro. So this is the first time I've used this technology. Forgive me if I make mistakes. This is cutting my teeth, but thank you everyone for joining us on the show. And here we go. Hi Adam,
Hey.
how are you?
Oh, I'm good. I should have warned you. I apologize. The mix on the music is just blaring. My apologies to your viewers. I should have told you put that at half volume. So
Okay,
anyhow,
so sorry.
no, it's no problem on me. I feel bad for your viewers, but you have their attention now. I promise you with that. With that
Okay.
intro.
All right. Well, I hope I haven't blown too many people away there, but yeah, I think it's just a wonderful, wonderful opportunity to get together, Adam. I really enjoyed our last live session on your show, and so I want to say thank you for being the very first person to help me cut my teeth on my own show. So I feel so much more confident with you by my side, Adam. It's very much appreciated.
Well, thank you. It's my pleasure, and thanks for having me on your show. Hello to your viewers that I haven't met before, and I think this is an exciting opportunity. And if people haven't noticed, I'm here in the States. You're in the UK, so I don't know. I think it's all cool. It's a crazy time to be just having hobbies that we can connect like that from so far away. You know.
Yeah, I think it's wonderful. I think this technology is linking us from anywhere in the world, and I think it's wonderful. Well, talking of which, why don't we just see who's joining us tonight, if that's okay with you, Adam? We'll just have a quick look at the comments and the people in the house. So we've got Jeremy from Forest Morphs. So welcome to Jeremy. We've got Phil Snyder, who's joining us as well. And we've got Simon Millership, who's based, I believe, in the UK, if I'm right. So there's three, I can see some comments going through, and we've got, how many people have we got in the house? Now, what I don't realise, Adam, you might be able to help me here. How do we work out who's in the house? Is there a way of working out, or do we wait for people just to say hi?
Only if they comment. That's why I always put at the top, please comment and say hello, because I always wonder as well. I never know. And one night we were going, and maybe it was even on your episode, but Chris Hardwick popped up all of a sudden. I was like, oh, well, I wouldn't have known. Who knows? It could be,
Okay, well, we've got some more comments coming now. So we've got.
There we go. There you go.
Yeah,
hey, Man was on mine one time too. So it's good to see you guys again.
Yeah. So let me see if I'm learning how to use technology. I'm going to share a few of these comments so we can see who's in the house. So let's start with Simon, who's one of our first person that was in here. So there's Simon Millership. Now, out of interest, Adam, can you see that? Is it coming up on your screen okay?
Yeah, I could see the comments and I can see the highlighted ones, but I can't comment back. That's the only thing. You run the show on the comments, so I can't. That I know of. Somebody will know how to, but I don't know how to. I don't know how to. I can't comment back. I think I have to open another window and all that. So
I'll tell you what we'll do then, Adam, if you're happy, because my channel is all about bringing in the subscribers, bringing in the friends that we have on our channels, and they determine what material goes out, really, because they're the ones that ask all the questions. They're the ones that want to know about me, know about you. So tonight, if we can, as we get these comments coming in, if it's okay, we'll break away for a little bit and just see what questions are being asked and what comments are happening.
Absolutely, yeah.
Are you okay with that? Are you okay with that?
Yeah, that's what this is for. I mean, why else have an audience? Otherwise, we would just film ourselves. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely.
Okay, so we've also got Jeremy. Now, Jeremy is at his business is Forest Morphs, and he was here hours ago. My apologies to everyone, because I thought it was a 7-hour difference between us and you guys, and it turned out to be 5. And I don't know why that is, but I made a mistake, so my apologies if people were scheduled to come in at 3. I know it's a Saturday and it's a family day, and I do appreciate everyone that's joining us because for me it's 10 o'clock in the evening here in the UK, and I think for you guys it must be 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
So it's 5 o'clock. So thank you so much for helping us out there. Now we've also got Phil. Phil Snyder is with us as well. So welcome, Phil, to the house. and he sends his love to us. So thank you, Phil, for joining us. Phil's got a family meal in about an hour, so he said he'd be able to spend an hour with us, and then he's going to be having tea with his family. So thank you, Phil, for joining us. And we've also got, let's have a little look and see who else is in the house. Now we've got here Meehan Serpents. How's it going? It's going good here in the UK. Now, I think, I'm just trying to remember, Adam, is Mayhem Serpents coming from your channel to me? I'm trying to think whether he's a friend from your side.
I think I saw Mans on only 1 or 2 episodes recently, so I'm not sure. Okay. I'm not familiar. We haven't spent a whole lot of time together. I'm not sure which direction they're coming.
Okay, but it's great to have you here. And we've also got Alan B as well, so we'll just do a shout out for Alan. Welcome, Alan, to the show. So that's wonderful. Thank you so much for coming in. And we've also got...
Mans came from Gershon.
From Gershon, okay.
Yeah.
Gershon's been a wonderful influence on me. I don't know. I really enjoyed your live show with Gershon the other night, by the way.
I had a really great time with him. And you know, actually a quick shout out to him and the good things he's doing. He just did an episode of all women in the hobby guests. And I just think it's cool. I think it's necessary and good for him for doing it, but good for those ladies too. And they're not messing around. They have some serious stats both on YouTube and Snakes. It's fantastic what they're doing.
Yeah. I think Gershon, for me, is he set such a vision for the future, really, because I've always wanted to do this. A year ago, I tried a live show, and I realized my technology wasn't up for it. So we had 3 beautiful families who joined my channel about a year ago. And I pre-recorded the live show and I put it out in 3 parts and managed to do something, even though it wasn't like this. But now I have the technology. My son Adam, in fact, let me give my son Adam a shout out here, because Adam is here. Hey everyone, okay. Hi Adam. So he goes by the name of Arvel. He loves his gaming. He's an IT student at university, and he built this computer. What you're having here, if you're getting clear images and good sound, which hopefully you are, it's because I've just invested some cash on a really good system, and I did it so well because Adam is a technical builder. He builds computers as well as he wants to get into artificial intelligence in the future. He wants to get into the medical side of artificial intelligence. He's doing a degree to do that, and he very kindly during the Christmas period, as a gift to me for Christmas, built this beautiful computer for me for half the price. So if anyone wants a computer building, let me know.
Very nice.
Adam's your man. So I've got this really, and since I've been back in my accountancy practice, I mean, we're flying through the tax returns quicker than ever because I've got super fast internet speed. I've got a super fast computer. So once I learn how to do all the controls, I'm sure we're going to have a really wonderful few. I mean, we're going to do this every Saturday night if we can, live every week for this year if we can.
Very nice. Very nice. This is a good goal to have too.
Well, you've inspired me because I noticed that whether you've got a guest or not, you put it out. And I think that's really commendable that you put out some content on a live, because not everyone can make it. And sometimes you get cancellations. And I think if you're consistent with your channel, which I believe you, I mean, your subs are going through the roof. And we were at 840 last time we spoke. You got up to 917 already and going up.
Yeah,
you're gonna hit that 1,000 very soon, I tell you.
No, but when I first got onto you, we were neck and neck, and then you pulled ahead of me. I was like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So
that was Gershon. That's the Gershon effect.
Well, and you work incredibly diligently because I mean, you post nearly every day, right?
I've been posting every day for the last 3 months. And then when my tax return period hit me, I suddenly realized I've got all these clients that need me to get their tax return in by the end of January.
And I need to pay some bills, huh?
I had to focus on them, and I really feel for my subscribers who looked forward to the daily content. And I put a video out this morning to apologize for there being very little content, because it's been at least 4 days since I've put anything out. For me, that's a big gap.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to do daily content. I love daily because it's good for my soul. I mean, I'm a natural teacher. I know you have a teaching background, Adam, and you were a history teacher. I'm a natural teacher.
No, let me clarify. I studied to be. I never actually. I graduated. I graduated, but I never got into the teaching profession. It was I would have to go down that rabbit hole. I was able to provide better and earn more selling burgers than teaching the future of our entire race. And that still to this day drives me nuts that I chose restaurants over teaching, but that's what it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think what it is that I think that in me, even though I haven't gone into the teaching profession or even studied to be a teacher, in my church environment, I do a lot of teaching.
Right.
So I've always taught young men, youth. I've kind of been like a scout leader, always responsible for teaching not just camping skills and going out and fishing and teaching them how to
Right.
hunt and do these things. I kind of like also teach them the spiritual side of life and give them
Yeah.
some
That's the
basics to help
vehicle
them.
to get to the other stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the Savior, he fed the 5,000 before he spiritually fed them. Before he gave the sermon, he saw 5,000 people come to him and he decided to feed them first.
Yeah.
Now, that makes complete sense to me because when everyone's had a good fill, they're more likely to want to listen to you spiritually.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Regardless of religion or
Yeah.
belief, that's pretty straightforward. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, and I always saw the restaurant as a very large classroom of my own. I don't know outside of America, but the restaurant industry in America has some unhealthy stereotypes that there's truth in the stereotypes. So I always tried to get around that, but that's a different topic. I see Fish Topics. He's talking about the picture behind you, which is posted as well there, Paul.
You know, that handsome young man shaved my beard tonight. It's my son, Nathan.
Oh, very nice.
And he shares an interest that you have, which I wanted to talk to you about, because when I was going on your YouTube channel, I noticed you've got what I think they call, I've never heard of it before, but my sons know all about it because they're into it. They're investing in art, digital art.
Oh, yeah.
But NFT, I mean, NFT is a very interesting concept to me. And I noticed you've got some artwork on your YouTube channel.
I do. And it's more than just art. And some of this will take a moment, but actually if Nathan's into it, maybe he'll be able to comment and steer the conversation. Because usually I find when I try and explain it, the eyes roll off and so I don't talk a whole lot about it because I'd much rather talk about ball pythons. But so an NFT is it's usually in the form of art, but it can be any digital code. So the future of music, I believe, will be released on NFTs. Concert tickets and event tickets are essentially NFTs now. All it is something that is 100% unique that cannot be replicated. The image of it, just like you can make a photocopy of the Mona Lisa, you are not recreating the Mona Lisa and doing a photograph of it. The Mona Lisa is not digitally encoded. That's where NFTs are digitally encoded. Yeah, so we got the what is that? The stoned ape there.
Yeah, so that's an example, Adam, of when I was preparing for today's show, my boys were helping me with all the technology, and it suddenly dawned on me. I said to Adam, "What is Adam doing at his channel? He's got this this artwork on his channel. I'm not sure what it was all about." And Nathan said, "Oh, Dad, I've just bought this particular digital piece of. It's his. He's bought it. I think it cost him £30.
Okay,
and it can go to £300 in a day if you get it right."
Yeah. Well,
he owns the digital. He actually owns the digital artwork. Someone designed it. There's an art studio that designs it all. They then put it out, and then you buy it and you own it, and then somebody else might like the look of it, and you can sell it on at a profit.
That's right. It's much like in that way. It's much like stocks or commodities would be that you can sell or trade, and you can buy them on proposition pricing or speculation. But the other thing, and this is the thing that's interesting to me from a ball python standpoint. Okay, so you've got that it's digitally unique. It can be resold. It doesn't go away, and it's encoded publicly for eternity for the world to see. Mm-hmm. You can encode anything you want in it. So if I wanted, instead of going with Patreon, if I wanted to say the holder of my Proper Royals NFT gets X, Y, and Z access, that's encoded in that NFT. And whoever owns it and holds it would have that access.
Yeah. It's very forward looking. I think, Adam, when I was getting to know you, you said that you've explored so many different ways of getting into media. This is another example of how thorough you are with your research because you're on the game. You know exactly where the future's going. You're on it. And I'm thinking, I'm learning so much from actually associating myself with you because every time I look at what you're doing, you're forward thinking in terms of how you get out there, how your professional channel, your live channel is very professional. You're a very good host. You communicate well. There's community building. People are coming to your channel. They're loving your content. And I want all my subscribers, if possible, to jump on your channel because I love you very, very much. And I love the content. I love the material. and I'm so glad I got you as a friend.
You're incredibly kind, and I do love your kindness. You're building me up with a lot to deliver, but
You deliver a
in
lot.
that, but so here's the thing, though. I wouldn't say literally. I have very, very little to lose in exploring this stuff. Now, if my ego gets bruised, well, yeah, okay. My ego got bruised when I started losing my hair too, and I learned how to, So I'm not worried about my ego being bruised, but a lot of this whole YouTube exercise was to force me to learn and become literate in a lot of these sort of languages. So the language of YouTube, the language of social media, I didn't know anything about that. And how I learned is jumping into it. And then these things started to click with NFTs. And I was like, well, what does it take to make an NFT? And I started looking, and not only did I make one, as far as I know, I sold the very first ball python experiential NFT to somebody named Will Banks. That's all I know, but I know a Will Banks that I think is pretty influential, but I am not confirmed that it's that Will Banks that bought it. So, but the thing was, it didn't cost me anything to make the NFT. I mean, it cost me maybe $15, but it didn't cost me anything, but I learned a ton from it.
Did you make that yourself? The art in there, was that your own creation?
Yeah, and actually it was my son. It was my son's creation. My 9-year-old, he loves little Pokemon cards, and he was like, "What if we could make a snake Pokemon?" I was like, "Draw it up, man!" Like, we literally have nothing to lose, and the art is fun, but it's a 9-year-old's drawing, and then I just stuck a random number on it. There's a 1 and a 2 and a 3, and that's how it's made unique.
I'm impressed.
I stuck the logo, the 3, and then I scanned in my actually I took a phone picture of my son's artwork and traced it out and dropped it on there. So anyhow, so since you brought it up, you could go to OpenSea.io, OpenSea.io, and my Proper Royals collection of NFTs are there. But there's guaranteed access that's tied in. So first dibs on animals for sale. If somebody's like, I could learn from this guy, instead of hiring me, the NFTs entitle you to like 4 quarterly like jam sessions, I call them, a year, where if you go, hey, I don't know how to do my books, teach me how to do, whatever. We can spend those times together. And then I can't share all of it. But imagine if you had somebody that was like, I really like this idea of snakes, and I think that there's money to be made. And I think that, Paul, I think you're on the right track, and you have this killer collection, but I don't want anything to do with snakes. Say you knew somebody that way, and they were like, how can I get into snakes without actually getting into them? What if you could guarantee a portion of ownership through an NFT? Say there was a $5,000 snake that you're not going to shell out the $5,000 for, but the other person believes in you enough, and they're willing to share a portion of the ownership. If you'll do the work, they'll front the money. I'm working on an NFT that looks like that, where it'll be an expensive NFT, but I'll use the proceeds to buy the very, very best snake that I could buy. That's one of the 2022 resolutions. It's going to happen this year.
That's amazing. What an incredible vision, an incredible journey. I don't know any other breeder out there that's doing this. This is so unique, Adam.
And I do think it is. I wouldn't say it's proprietary because anybody can do it, but I do think it's brand new, and I'm very close to bringing it to market. So I'm much, much happier and more confident to talk about it now because it's just about ready.
I'm looking forward to seeing that journey on your side. We've got Mark's in the house from 403 Fauna. If it's okay, I want to give him a shout out because
please do. Mark is great.
He's an awesome guy, and I think he's based in San Diego. I've gone fishing in San Diego with my family, and we've loved it out there. And he's got an amazing collection growing. He's a teacher. He teaches young people at college, and I love, and I think his name 403 Fauna is because the number of his door, the classroom he teaches in, is 403. If I'm right, and I'm very keen to see. I think Mark. I think he's got a clutch coming soon because one of his girls was almost ready to go.
I think there was either a very close to ovulation or just last bits of building kind of situation.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing that. So thank you very much, Mark, and he sends his congratulations on the new show. Thank you very much, Mark, for being here tonight. So I think let's talk some snakes. We've got a little bit of knowledge on Adam's background. There's lots more we're going to reveal about Adam in the course of this show, if it's okay with you, Adam, because you and
Yeah.
I share some other hobbies and interests. And the reason I learned this from Stephen at Leviathan Snakes, and he's a marketing specialist, professional. And I do it naturally anyway, but when he was teaching on one of his videos the other night, he said, it's really important to get to know the person you're buying your snakes from or you're doing deals with or you're building a relationship with, because people buy from each other, not just because of the snakes. They buy because you have a common interest and common, like for example, Jeremy and I love Star Wars. I know I'm attracted to Jeremy big time.
Yeah.
You know, I know that you're a musician and you're a fisherman as well.
Yeah.
And I'm not a musician. I clown about and pretend I'm a musician, and I'll show you that. I'll show you that later tonight. But I am as you know, I'm a very keen fisherman. There's a couple of
There's
pictures.
not much difference to what I do with music either. There's 4 chords and a lot of beer can go a long way with the right crowd. Okay.
Yeah. As long as you've got the luck of the Irish when it comes to this year's odds, because we'll come back to that later. But let's now Adam's been so well prepared. He's got 2 cameras here, and we're going to try this technology. If anyone's been, I'm sure a lot of you have been following Adam's journey, he's installing new stuff at the moment. He's put in some very interesting stuff in his facility. He's very kindly offered to give us a personal tour of his facility, what's going down. Maybe pull out 1 or 2 snakes, because I know Phil's keen to have a look, and he's got his dinner coming in half an hour. So sorry, Phil, if we've waited this long for some snakes, we're going to get into some snake therapy here. So Adam, you let me know when you're ready, and we'll switch cameras, take us to your facility, and show us what you've got going down and what your projects are, what you're excited about.
I will. There was one question about that last NFT thing, and we'll leave it alone after that. Man asked,
so sorry.
On this NFT, he says, on this NFT, is there an actual return for a person who would be buying into them? Yes, that they would be a partial owner. So the proceeds from the offspring would provide residual returns to that person owning it. So I wouldn't make all the money that I normally would make, but I could afford a snake that I normally wouldn't ever afford. So that's the trade-off on there. It's kind of venture capital sort of bargaining mindset on that. But I'll leave that alone. And to your point, let's go check out the facility and the snakes, because that's what we came to talk about, right?
Let's do it. Let's do it, Adam.
Okay. All right. I'll see you in just a second.
Okay. Okay, while Adam's just moving across, I'm going to move on to his second camera. Just want to welcome Fabier over to the channel. We've got 12 people that are with us at the moment. Thank you for staying with us. We're going to get into some snake therapy. My son Jared also came in. As you know, Jared's part of the team. So I'd like to thank Jared for joining the channel too. And let's now move across to Adam. And I've got to learn how to... There we go. So
there we are.
Now, I'm going to try and get you on the large screen so you can see what's happening there. Let me see if I can get you on large. No, I haven't done that right. Let me go back.
There it is. So sorry for the lighting. I'm on a laptop webcam, which is amazing, the technology they can cram into a laptop, but not a good camera. But anyway, so this is my non-heated area of the snake area, and I've just installed that big sink, or I'm in the process of it. It is not fully installed. As you can see, there's no faucet on it, but that is a restaurant, an old sink from actually one of my old restaurants. And Santa Claus was very good to me and brought that stainless steel shelf, which I love. That is my cooling unit that sort of moderates the garage temperature when needed. It's not needed this time of year. And then this wall, they all have their clothes on, don't worry. This wall behind me is the wall to the heated area, and that's the door to the snake room behind me. Paul, are you still there? Well, everybody, if I'm flying solo, stick with me.
I'm still here. Sorry.
There it is. That's okay.
Now I'm trying to work out how I can stay small and give you big. Let me see if I can. Let's try that. No, that's not good. Let me get rid of that.
If you try clicking on my face directly on, like right next to where your face is on the screen.
Okay.
That go? No.
No, let me see if I can get you on the large. I know there's a way of doing this. I go small, you go big. Let me see if I can work this out. No, other way around maybe. Let's try the other way around.
You could drag the pictures too. Try dragging my picture right on top of yours.
Okay, let me see if I can do this.
There we Oh, well, you went away though. Let's see in the comments. There we go. Oh, no.
We're having fun here. We're having fun getting the technology right. It's just me.
Yeah.
I mean, the other options, we could go that way.
That's okay.
And then when you show me something, I can go big on you, but I'll still be speaking in the background. So
Yes.
if I go big on you, Adam, am I still speaking in the background? If I go solo on your...
Try it.
Should we try that?
Yeah.
Okay, let's try. I'm going to get... Adam's going to come and help me, my other technical son. Adam, how do we get that large me small? Adam's going to help us out here. Sorry, guys, about this. Technical hitches. It has to be part of the live show. You get these technical hitches.
Well, we're a friendly audience. It's good.
Yeah.
Mark was asking at 403 Fauna if I built those walls. Mark, I built that room. And so this is my garage. I built that room. It's a 12 by 8 room. And that is heated and cooled. And out here is really only cooled. There's no need to heat in Florida, really. In here.
Okay, we'll stay with 2 for now, and then what we'll do, I'll go large. What I'll do, Adam, I'll go large on you when you get to what you're showing us. I'll go large on you, but you can still hear me.
Okay.
I haven't quite worked out how to get me small and you big, so we'll move in big and small screens at the moment.
It's all right.
Okay, sorry about that. Yeah.
And then, so yeah, I've got the sink. It still needs to get plumbed, and I'll have one of the big industrial faucets with the spray down hose. That'll be there. There you go. You got it. That's the one.
Adam's worked it out, and you told me this, and I completely ignored it. Which is, you go onto the edit software and you move the picture from small to big and interchange actually on the thing. I've got it. I know how to do that now. Okay.
That's okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. Back to you, Adam. Sorry.
Yeah. And then in here, hang on, the light will adjust in just a minute. This is now the heated portion. And hopefully the sound got a little bit better. As a music guy in here, the sound doesn't echo because of all the insulation on the walls. There's less echo.
Yeah.
But let me see. In here we've got, that's my incubator. There's my heater, and then my snake rack's behind me, and that's the whole collection. There's 27 snakes, and I'll have 8 of them are breeding this year. Hopefully all 8 go.
Yeah.
And next year I should work up to 18 to 20 breeding with 6 to 8 males. And hatchling rack behind me, and that's really it. This is the facility. So this room is 12 by 8, and sorry, I do have a little workstation here. That workstation will go away once the sink is live, and then I'll have all of that space right there for more racks, and I've got that open wall behind me as well.
I really like the setup because you can pivot around anywhere and get to where you need to be within 1 or 2 steps, which is great because everything's to hand, and the sink facility being so close, which is key for me. I noticed on your video, one of the reasons you invested in the sink, and Phil is obviously green with envy on that sink. I think most of us are, because when I installed my sink, I thought I had a decent sink until I saw yours. I was thinking, I need to think bigger here.
I'd rather be known for the snakes, but hey, if I'm going to be known for the sink, that's fine.
That is an absolute clonking great big sink. And tell us, you got it from the catering, because you've got a catering background and you've got connections in the restaurant business. So did you actually? I noticed that your incubator was also taken from the cake. So what we've got here is that I went out and spent like $250 on a cooler that I converted, but I could have picked one up for $50 and converted one that was no longer being used in the catering industry. And I wish I'd have known that earlier.
Yeah, and you're exactly right. And every industry has its perks. So food and beverage has some of its own. But I'll tell you, restaurant owners, their margins are so slim generally that they have this belief that everything that they have that doesn't work is worth holding on to and either fixing or they're going to sell for scrap or something. And what happens is it just sits there. It just sits there. So that sink, I'm not going to give you the close-up of it. I don't know if you noticed, it's filthy. I still haven't cleaned it because I don't have a drain to clean it into yet. But it's because it sat on one of my restaurants. It sat on my back dock for literally 2 years. And recently I resigned from that position. But the general manager of the property, I went to him and I said, hey, how much do you want for that sink? And he was like, how much could I get for it? And I said, it has sat there with me for 2 years getting zero. He goes, all right, how much will you pay me? So I got that sink for $200. I said, I'll haul it away for $200. And I took the sink. And same on that cooler. I think it was $40 or $50. Didn't work. I didn't need it to work. I just needed the insulation capabilities and then run the heat strips like we do on the racks.
I personally think you're boxing smart here because most of us coming into the hobby, we have got some savings, but those savings are that's hard-earned cash. We've got to be careful how we use that money. And I'm thinking to myself, what you save on the sink and you save on the cooler, what you save on insulation, what you save on flooring, whatever you save, where's that going to go? It's going to go into.
That's right.
Snakes.
To the fun stuff. That's right.
Yeah, you're going to be able to get the jeans you want now. So I think that's boxing clever in my book because. You're like me, you like to prove a concept before you commit big money because, we've got to learn the art and craft of keeping these snakes. If we do a Miguel and throw 100 grand, I mean, Miguel didn't throw 100 grand straight in. He started small. He actually bought someone else's collection first and learnt the art and craft of keeping them. And then when he knew what he was doing, then he committed some serious buckage. And I'm thinking that what I want to do is I want to learn the art and craft of keeping ball pythons, make sure I get the science right, make sure I get their welfare first. And then when I start investing in more and more high-end genes, I'm going to feel a lot more comfortable because, you can spend 5 grand on a snake easily. And if you don't know how to look after that snake and it ends up getting ill, you're writing off not only the snake's life, but also your investment going into the business is written off. And we've got to be so careful that we commit ourselves at the right time here.
I agree. And it came up on my show the other night. I used the expression, again, I'm trying to look for an investor in a various capacity. But they're investing in me. The snake is the vehicle, but to your point, if that snake dies, what does the investor get? They get they're just mad at me. I would make it right, but goes back to them investing in me personally. And you're right, you could spend a whole lot. And I have really worked because I know what limitations my resources are. I don't have room to expand on this, short of buying a different house, which may or may not happen in the future, but I don't think it'll happen in the next 5 to 10 years. To Phil's point right there, I've got to be as efficient as possible, both time, space, and money, because let me tell you, I ain't got 100 grand to put into this thing. Mm-hmm. I'm not near it. I've got to earn it along the way and hopefully keep some in my back pocket as well. Because, reinvesting in the business is one thing, but at the end of the day, I want a business to make money, not just stay afloat. So, all of those things.
My own theory is that I look at the size of Miguel's facility. He's a great role model for me. I like his channel. He speaks openly. He's not frightened to speak business like you're the same way. I think in the industry we're worried about speaking business. I think the reality is that if your heart's in the right place and you love those animals and you want those animals to generate income so you can expand your projects and you can feed a community and build a community, you need money. Makes the world go around at the end of the day. And I think we should be careful not to shy away from talking cash, because one thing I like about your channel is so transparent. You gave us your profit, your sales. I'm an accountant, so when I saw your spreadsheets, and I said to you on that show, for a non-accountant, obviously being a consultant of several big restaurants and having so many staff that you've had to deal with, you've got lots of other skills that are going to come and help you in this new business.
Well, thank you. And I think I told you in the comments, but maybe not personally. When you gave me that feedback, I was like, yes, I got the accountant's check mark on the.
I'm the equivalent of a CPA, I think. We call ourselves chartered accountants over here. You guys call yourself certified. Mind you, the way I'm going with my brain power, I sometimes think I'm certified myself for the wrong kind of reasons, though. But it's But
So what snakes do you want to take a look at? Because it's 5:30 here on the east coast of the state, so they're not quite settled down. And I was excited on my live show. I actually rarely break out snakes because it's late in the evening, and I love the regimented consistency. If the snakes see me after dark, they kind of are expecting to feed.
Yeah.
They know that, and I want to keep it that way. So I have a good opportunity today. You know, we can look at whatever you'd like.
So what I would say is, why don't you show us what you'd like to share, but also,
Okay.
which I know you will be anyway, because I don't like to share any snakes that are in shed. I like to leave them be. I don't want to share anything that I think sleeping. If something's showing a little bit of activity and you want to share it, because I think the welfare of the snakes is most important, not our entertainment. But I would love you to share what you would like to share, but also bearing in mind the sensitivity of your snakes. I don't want you to put your snakes out for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
You know what? We looked at a big girl earlier, and she's just a pastel.
She's a beautiful pastel, though.
She's still vivid. She's huge. I say she's huge. She's about, and sorry guys, I'll be stepping on and off the camera here, but there's a neat story with this girl. Let me break her out real quick, and then I'll tell you the story. And it goes back to, or ties in, relationships and how you treat each other in this hobby. So this girl, her name is Jenny, and she is a big, like I say, still very vivid pastel. And she's probably 2,700 grams right now. She's a good sized girl.
I was going to say, my goodness me, you've got her up to a good size. Now, what was your strategy? Did you buy any adults, or did you bring her on, or what was the story?
Yeah, so I'll tell you the story. I bought her as an adult. I bought her 18 months ago. And the breeder I bought her from, she had recently laid, and he was, I will not say the breeder's name, but he wasn't very forthcoming with a whole lot of information. And he says, but basically, good luck, you're on your way. And he was nice enough, plenty nice. So she didn't go last year, and I started following the breeder and keeping an eye on that kind of stuff. And I think she's been bred quite a lot, and frankly needed a break last year, which is just fine. I would much rather her get her break than, crank out a stressed 2 or 3 eggs that aren't going to do well.
Yeah.
But funny story, after I had her maybe 6 weeks, I hadn't heard peep from the breeder, which is fine. I didn't stay in touch really or anything like that. Out of the blue, he just drops me a note and he goes, "Hey, I want to buy that girl back." And he didn't say anything. And I said, "Well, tell me what's going on." And he was like, I'll get your money back. I'll give you your money back. And I was like, this is weird. Something doesn't make sense here. So I go to look on his Facebook page. He had discovered that she's het cryptic. He had bred her.
Oh my goodness me!
Yeah, he had bred her to.
I thought there was something going on. I've never seen a pastel as bright as that, and I've never seen. If you look at the pattern on that as well.
She's
so. You know what?
Yeah.
Can I just say something? You've actually helped me answer a question I was questioning two of my snakes I've got. I've got 2 snakes that I've bred with Jared this year who look kind of normal, but they're not normal. They're actually 100% het for Desert Ghost.
Yeah.
And I was going to sell them, actually going to put them out and sell them, because I think one's a boy, one's a girl, and I've got a better visual examples that I want to keep. But as they've grown, and they're about 200 grams now, I've had a look at them. They've got the same pattern as your girl.
Oh.
They've got teardrops coming off them. They've got joint alien heads, and they've got flaming coming up. And I'm looking at that and thinking, you just hit the nail on the head. I think I've got the same as you. You've got the Krypton, is it?
Yeah, that's a het cryptic. And
Heptacryptic.
Yep. And I have a male clown that is a proven stud for me, and he's very good. So I'll get a clutch of sorry. So it's possible that she's actually het clown, because he bred 2, he knew that one of them was a het clown, but maybe they mixed that up. Anyway, there's either het clown or het cryptic in her. And what drove me nuts though is the guy just wasn't forthright. Like the right way to do that is, man, if you made that mistake, now the buyer might tell you to get lost anytime anyway, but the right way to do it is just be forthright and don't try and just get the guys to, like, I only paid $200 for her. Don't just try and take advantage of the guy and get your $200 back. Like, offer him the fair market value. You're going to make your money back on her offspring and that kind of deal. So anyhow,
I think it's fantastic. You've been blessed there, and you've been
that's
blessed
exactly
because
right. I agree.
you've been blessed because you've also rested her, which is one of my policies. I don't overbreed my snakes.
No.
If I think a girl or boy needs a rest for a year, I give them a rest because it's false economy. It's false economy to breed every year if the snakes aren't ready, because you'll end up with either small clutches, you'll end up with knackered snakes, and you're much better off giving them a year's rest, build them up again, and they'll give you probably a 10-egg clutch, all healthy. And I'm not saying that's a guarantee, but I think it's a false economy thinking we can breed every year with every single animal. I think it's a really false economy.
It's like working workers 60 hours and paying them overtime and thinking that you're getting a good return. You're wearing them out and you're wasting your money and your time, and you're going to waste your people as well, which are your best resources. So
yeah, I think that's fantastic. So I'm going to keep a very close eye on what she produces for you, because it's going to help me.
I am too. And this will be the second breeding season that I've had her. She's never laid for me. And I'm hoping to see some Kryptons come out. To be honest, I've got my clown bases covered. So Kryptons are what I want from her. So I could get super pastel Kryptons plus I'm going to show you the male here in a minute. I think there's something else going on in him. So I'm on a journey figuring that out.
I love it. I love you proving it all out. Is it possible to show us which male are you going to put to her, and is he available for us to have a look at?
Let's take a look at him right now, matter of fact.
I'd love to see it. Yeah, this is great because the future offspring that you produce. Hopefully, the people that are watching this, and as we share the video, this is the other good reason. Besides building the community, we're marketing a year or two ahead of ourselves here, but people can
That's
see.
That's true.
You know, and I say that boldly, and I'm not ashamed of saying that. But I mean, people do buy from people. And you've got to get word out that you've got a particular gene that people are interested in.
Yep. And for anybody just starting on a YouTube channel that's worried about YouTube monetization or whatever it might be from YouTube, I'll tell you that about half or over half of my gross revenue in 2021 came from YouTube viewers. So don't worry about the YouTube monetization. Worry about your product that you can get in front of the right people and get in front of the right tribe, you know? So this is the clown male. He is a pastel for sure. There's his head stamp. You can see fairly well there. But his sides are interesting to me. I'm not great on clown identification morphs. Or morph identification. So, Blade was running around in clowns for a long, long time. And I wonder if that's what's in him.
Do you know what? I'm not an expert, but I know Blade has a reduced pattern at the top, and that has a reduced pattern at the top, which tells me it could well be Blade.
Yeah. And
if anyone out there that's much more experienced than us, like F&A Balls have just come in, they're very experienced. Maybe they can help us with that one. I'm just going to say a quick hello to them. I think you may have hit another jackpot. Finders, keepers, losers, weepers, as Mark was saying, is you may have got lucky there on that second snake, because if you're buying well here, Adam, you're being blessed. And a lot of us do. We often find that we get extra genes out of what we've got. I was just going to come back. I bought some snakes, desert ghosts, from a top breeder in Europe. And I couldn't get a desert ghost in the UK, and I went and imported from Europe. And guess who I bought from? I bought from a guy called Marco Van Halen. He's a top breeder, recognized by the world.
Wow. Yeah.
Now, he gave me a pair of desert ghosts. In fact, it was 3 desert ghosts I got of him. It was a girl and two boys, and I've also got a het desert ghost. And they gave me a clutch this year. They're not visuals, they're hets. And I was saying I saw an interesting pattern on some of the hets.
Yes.
I think he's carrying cryptic in there, because I watched another video recently where the cryptic gene was hidden in his collection in the desert ghost.
Yep. And
so I'm putting 2 and 2 together. That other video plus what you're telling me is telling me that Jad and I, when I get back tomorrow, when Jad and I speak, we might have an extra gene that we've got as well, which we didn't realize we had, which could be a great blessing to us.
You got to get a clown in the mix and find out then, right?
Yeah, it means that we've got what we're looking for is Desert Ghost clowns, but we may have Het Desert Ghost and Het Cryptic in there already. We might be 3 years ahead of ourselves here, which would be fantastic because
Exactly.
I want a Desert Ghost clown, or I want something that looks like a Desert Ghost clown. So
that's the journey, and I'll show you one that stud. I'll show you one of his offspring that he produced this year that produces all sorts of questions for me. And I would love to show you both offspring, which would really highlight the differences. But I just fed her today. So this is one of his male offspring this year. I don't know how well it translates. This is a banana. Mm-hmm. And I don't believe it's pastel. And it's hard to see on this light. But Paul, this thing is orange. Like
that's
orange,
popping, man.
Orange.
That is a beautiful example of a banana. There's definitely something else going on in there. Definitely.
Yeah. And the father is what I just showed you. And what I've started to see is that sort of like Angie Blade seems to bring out quite a lot of orange. So I'm sort of going back to Blade again, but I really don't know. And a lot of people have said maybe there's vanilla or fire in there, which would lighten it even more. But from patterns, they had said that. But yeah. And I'll show you the female in a moment. That's the mother. That was the one I was just going to show you. That she's a big breeder as well. But she was.
Adam, you've got quality. All I'm saying to you is, I know you're starting your collection. When we all do, we start small, and then we get this amazing urge to increase. Your collection could go very, very fast north very quickly this year if you're not careful. But what I'm saying is, you've done the wise thing. Is you've gone for quality rather than quantity. And I've always said that when new breeders start off, try to go for the best quality you can afford. Don't go for massive numbers. Just try to get the quality to lay the foundations of your future collection. Remember, this is the foundations you're laying. Make sure it's solid.
It's a long journey. And I talk a lot on my channel. I am an impatient person. I'm used to 6-minute ticket times for chicken tenders. I don't wait years for, a baby to come around, but that's what this hobby teaches. And it's healthy for me in that way.
Okay. We've got a question here from Celtic Balls, which is going to be Angie and Jeff, who have agreed to come on my channel as a live in the next couple of weeks. We've got to work out dates. I think we have worked out the dates. Even though I'm an organized accountant, I need to really have a secretary to get my dates all lined up because I'm useless. As you can tell, we were 2 hours difference in our timing, and I need to be a lot more organized on that front. But she's posing a question: is Enchi and Blade almost the same thing? If anyone is out there that has any thoughts on that and wants to share and maybe enlighten that answer, I've got my own opinion on that. Do you have an opinion on that, Adam? What's your thoughts between Enchi and Blade?
I'll start with saying there's people far more educated on it than I am. I don't know that I have Blade in my collection anywhere. I'm sort of going on the easiest and most direct answer is sometimes the most correct answer. Sorry, I've got a tub open over here. I'm just keeping an eye on her real quick.
Yeah.
Sorry, No, it's okay. She's great. She's actually going into shed, but you talked about knowing your animals. This is the sweetest, nicest. Not that I ever would do this, but I think I could swing her by her tail and she would just be as happy as could be. So she's going to be okay, but I just want to watch her for a second. But so Enchi and Blade, in my estimation, they're very similar. Blade seems to be more prevalent or show more prevalence in combos. Blade by itself doesn't look that exciting to me, and that's my personal opinion. Whereas Enchi is very noticeable by itself. But then when you tie Blade into combos, it comes up with some cool things. And I personally am a sucker for really broad swaths of clean side. And that seems to be what Blade does. So it's always caught my attention. Outside of that, I can't speak to Blade. That is, I've not worked with it. I did full disclosure. That's it. That's what I know about it. So
okay, so I think that's good. It's interesting because I've got a boy that might have Blade, and he's a 5-gene clown boy. He's called Hercules, and he's a stud. And I can't wait for him to start locking up because what he's carrying is very powerful. But I've got this feeling he might have Blade in as well because he's got like a very reduced pattern. But I think with the Blade, I'm told that a Blade has a reduced pattern off the top. So in other words, the dorsal's very reduced and the pattern's very reduced. But when you look at Enchi is more of a banded. I mean, I tell you, we've got an expert in the house here. I mean, we know who's really good at Enchi, and that will be Gershon. I mean, he puts Enchi in absolutely everything. So I've got quite a big Enchi collection. I've got an Enchi Desert Ghost. I've got Enchis going into some other genes as well. Enchi is very much a banded. It's more banded pattern.
Yes.
And I think the blade isn't banded; it's actually reduced pattern. So I think there is a difference between the two. Although they might both be very good at enhancing, there might be similarities in that side. But I think the pattern is slightly different. But I'm not an expert like yourself. If there's anyone out there that can answer that question for Celtic Balls, please do feel free to drop us a message. But without any further ado,
to Angie and Jeff's point on they just said thank you. Usually only hear Blade with clown projects. That's where I come back to what's the most likely with a reduced dorsal and it's a clown. I'm like, well, there's probably Blade. The history of it is that people actually thought Blade was a line of clown, and then over time, obviously, the breeders have been able to prove that it's its own unique codom. So anyhow, but yeah, historically, I think Blade came in a clown is what I think it probably is. So
yeah, okay.
So to tie all of these snakes I've shown you together, that stud clown is breeding to the het cryptic, or what I believe is het cryptic. She's het something because the babies that the guy produced from her the last time were visual kryptons. So she's either het clown or het cryptic, but I believe she's het cryptic.
And so just for our viewers then, because some people coming in new may not.
Thank you. I take for granted sometimes.
I mean, to be honest, I haven't got my head around it yet, but I know that if you put clown with, is it cryptic, that you get?
That's correct.
They're basically on the same allele. Therefore,
yes.
Instead of having two visual clowns coming together, you can have a het clown and a het cryptic, is it? And you put those together, you're going to get something that will produce either, what they call it?
A krypton.
Krypton. And does that krypton look similar to a clown, or does it look...
Okay, so a krypton visually looks nearly, and a lot of people say absolutely identical to what a visual cryptic would look like. So they're both recessive traits, and they're one of the few scenarios where if you get a het to a het, they actually produce a visual. So imagine a candino. So a candy to an albino produces a candino. You can do a het to het versus a true recessive visual.
Yeah.
That's the same situation with cryptic and clown. What it ends up producing is an animal with a head very similar to a clown, and then the body is a really jumbled up, more traditional ball python. And then it has those nice kind of het clown outlines where there's the white, but the real kicker is that eye stripe that you see on clowns that tends not to be there or very diminished is that's a very striking part of the kryptons. So I'm hoping for that with those two. The baby I showed you was the baby from that clown sire that he sired. And then this is the mother. And if you remember all the oranges in that banana, it's orange and purple. I don't know how well it came under the light and this sort of bad camera, but this is the mom. And she's another really big breeder. She is just a hair smaller than the other one. And
she has some big girls, haven't you? I mean, that must be getting close to what, 2.5, 3 kilos?
Well, she's at 2. Yeah, she's every bit at 2.5.
Yeah, she looks like she's chunky. You got some really good females building. Are they bowl wrapping as well at the moment?
Yeah, they've been locking. They're on their way.
Okay, this is really, really good. You're making good progress here, Adam. And that to me, when I look at the size of what you've got there, that's looking very, very good
this year as well.
She's bounced back really quickly though, because I can see how good condition she's in. So you're doing something right on the recovery front. You're definitely getting back on food nicely.
You can see that ridge on her back already. Look at that. It's like, I'm surprised it shows up on the camera, but you can see that ridge on her back that we like to look for too. Yeah. So she was sold to me just as a banana het ghost, which I haven't proven that out.
Yeah.
And her patterns are hard to see, but this is the one where I think there must be some vanilla or fire in there as well. So we've got a lot of fun things to do with her offspring over time, and I've held a few back just for that reason. So
that's lovely.
And she's just the sweetest girl.
I look how social she is and how gentle she is. And my snakes are very similar. I mean, I think you find that collectors that spend time with their snakes, they get more docile snakes. It's as simple as that. And those that don't are going to happily have a few more fiery snakes on their hands that aren't
Yeah.
socialized. But everyone to their own, because some breeders won't touch, others are more. I've got a very tactile nature, a very huggy nature, very loving, half Italian family. We give a lot of love. We share a lot of love, and I give a lot of love to the snakes, and I believe they give me a lot of love, irrespective of people that think otherwise. Because I've seen them heal my daughter. I've seen them do so many good things that I value them as more than just breeding animals. I value them as part of the family.
Yeah, they've been the memories that I've created with my son and my family. Also, just having the channel as documentation. You know, I really love putting things out for the audience. It does come down to the audience, but there are a couple episodes every now and again where I'm pretty honest and straightforward, where I just say, hey, this is one of these episodes where I'm just thrilled and I want this moment to last, and I'm going to put it on video. And
Yeah,
you know, thanks for being a part of it, kind of thing. And
yeah.
it's for all the reasons you just talked about, you know?
Well, I'll give you an example. Last year, I couldn't remember who I put a girl to, and Jared was away. I was away from my notes and my computer, where I pair up everything and we record the locks.
Yeah.
And I got this very unusual clutch, and I had no idea because I was expecting something different. I was expecting my dreamsicle boy to be the father. I thought he was the only one I put to her. But at the very end, because I didn't see any locks on the dreamsicle boy, I thought I'd better give this girl, and it was a het pied girl. She was not that big. She was only
Mm-hmm.
about say 1,800 to 2 kilograms, and I didn't even expect a clutch. She was under her hide, and when I lifted up the hide to clean her, she was sat on 6 eggs.
Oh, geez.
I thought, oh, that boy dreamsicle. I've got some het dreamsicles while I'm getting I've got dreamsicle pairs, so I'm trying
Yeah.
to get the big girl up. But the
Yeah.
reality is, I thought if I get the boy in early, I'll get some hets ready for him for later. You know, I was thinking ahead of the game. Anyway, I got surprised, and I couldn't. I was scratching my head. I was away celebrating my 30th anniversary of my wife. We were away at the time,
Yeah.
and I was just trying to get my head together. And then in the end, I watched one of my videos, and I remember I record all my pairings on the video. I mean, it's a daily blog, so you get
Yeah.
everything. And I thought, oh, that's also my journal, so I can check on my video channel. So remotely, I checked on my video channel, and it was my super pastel banana boy, Apollo, who's got Orange Dream in him. That was the father. And I
Oh, nice.
and I phoned up the guy that gave me the girl to say, is she carrying sperm from another boy? Because I bought it as a mature girl.
Ah,
And he said, no, I have not put her to anything. And he sold it to me at 1,300 grams and said she's not been to anything. But I fed her up and got her ready. And
yeah.
one lock. This is what I'm saying to people. We sometimes get this idea we've got to put our snakes together every month on the dot. It takes one good lock to produce a clutch.
Yep. Yep.
So I'm
And
not too worried if I'm not putting animals in all the time every month now. I'm just going to make sure I get 2 or 3 good locks at the right time where both animals are healthy. And I think let nature take its course.
you, at the end, you're exactly right about nature taking its course. We can, it's our job to do all the right things and to set the right stage. At the end of it, it's those snakes, and they go or they don't. Like you say, I do think rest is important. And I say this, it took me a long time, and I say this with care to people. I'm still just starting out, but people that are earlier in the journey than me, don't rush. If your girl's 1,400 grams, let her go another year. Like, what difference is 2 eggs going to make this year that set you back, or that cause her not to get up to size next year? You know, so just take care of them and enjoy the ride. And I say that as somebody who made some of those mistakes myself. There was no long-term benefit in rushing anything. So
Yeah.
I'm happy with where I'm at, and I'm really excited for where I'm going. I'll show you one more snake as a sneak
Okay.
peek. I got a little plug, a video coming out tomorrow that I'll tell you all about it.
Okay.
This year, I famous last words, I know. My plan is to buy 3 snakes this year, and I purchased 2 already, and this is one of them. So I'll tell you about it here.
Okay.
I just got her, so I got to keep an eye on her, make sure she doesn't give me a little pop on the face. So she's visually basically completely normal.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not a car guy, so I don't know what the proper word is for like a really just everyday average looking Joe car that's been just super hot rodded. But if I knew it, that's what I would name her. I don't know that name, but this girl, this is a triple het.
Oh,
She
powerful,
is,
powerful girl. What's she
yeah,
carrying?
she's het for pied, lavender, and axanthic. And before
Wow.
I got her, I have now, like I say, I only have 27 snakes. 11 of my snakes are either visual or het for one of those three genes. So as she grows up, I'll have more and more in my collection to really make her a versatile, powerful asset to my collection. The second snake that I bought this year was her brother. So her brother is also triple het. So I have a male and a female of the triple het. So I'll be able to get the male triple het going this time next year in with some of my females that have those genes. Jeremy asked which line of axanthic. She's VPI. VPI.
That's a fantastic investment. I mean, what you're looking way ahead. And this is the thing, as breeders, I had the choice this year of producing visual dreamsicles, or Jad and I decided to put the dreamsicle boy to one of his favorite clown girls that's got some really powerful genes, and we're going to produce what you're producing, what you've got there right now. You're 3 years ahead of us, really, because it could take us 2 or 3 years to get that. That's that 3-year het snake you've got. Those pair of three hets snakes. Do you know how long that would have taken that breeder to produce those from scratch?
Yeah, exactly. Pardon me. I actually talk. That video tomorrow is not really a clickbait, like, oh, here's my new pickup, what I get. I tell you right out of the gate what I got. But the video is as much about what you're talking about, the time versus money value proposition. So it's not cheap, but to your point, what is 2 or 3 or 5 years of your time worth? And that's what I had to weigh. That plain looking girl and her brother are by far the most I've ever spent on snakes. Mm-hmm. Partially because I'm a bit thrifty, but the other portion is that I'm just disciplined on what I'm going to buy, and they're expensive snakes. But when I did the math of what recessive genes were most common in my collection, the only thing not represented well in those hets is a clown. But I've probably got 6 snakes in my clown and krypton project, so that's fine. I'll catch them up eventually. So yeah. I'm very excited, and to have the male is fantastic. I'm very excited about that as well.
Yeah, well, Jared and I have got a double het project, which is Axanthic, VPI, and clown, and we've got a 1 in 16 chance of hitting that when it goes ahead next year, which doesn't seem very good, but it's 2 clutches of 8, you hit 1.
That's right.
And you know what they go for? I mean, if you were to buy one of those right now, it's going to cost you the best part of $3,000 or $4,000.
Yes, sir.
Just for a double. You get a triple. You know that's going to be worth if you hit a triple.
Or 5 figures, yeah.
I mean, it's a serious number. I mean, look at what Justin's done with his recent triple visual he put out.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I didn't see his. I did a recent video on another triple, and one of those was Ghost, which you could pick up Ghosts really very inexpensively. So I don't know what Justin was. What was his going for?
I think he had a pastel VPI Axanthic clown. It had one other gene in it. What was the other gene? I'm thinking there was three in it. Was it a pied as well? It may well have been your visual project. I can't remember exactly, but there was 3 recessives with pastel, and it popped. I mean, we talk about Star Wars. You know when that guy popped out the Star Trooper, the Stormtrooper, which was a black and white snake, and it faded. It actually changed its color as it matured. But when it was a hatchling, it looked like a Stormtrooper. Yeah. And Jeremy would love this one, being a Star Wars fanatic. Can you imagine us producing one of those? And Jad and I blew us away when we saw it. It was amazing snake. But you've got the ingredients for that.
Yeah, and that'll be so. In that video coming out tomorrow, I talk about it. triple het, if I just sat for 3 years and did nothing and then bred the male and the female together, I'd have a 1 in 64 chance of hitting the triple. That's minuscule. That's less than 2% chance, which is ridiculous. Mm-hmm. However, if I put the male to work over the next 2 to 3 years and can produce a double visual het axanthic, then my odds go down to 1 in 16, which is what you're banking on for a triple. So it's making use of that time that you have while those things are coming to light or coming to maturity.
I think it's a very shrewd move what you've done there, because you've saved yourself 10 years work. I mean, it's probably cost you a bit. I mean, I won't ask you to tell us what you paid, but I'm guessing to get a triple het pair, we're talking pretty big money there for the pair.
It was, and I don't, here's the thing. If somebody goes out of their way, or I feel like I got a screaming deal, I generally won't put a breeder on the spot. But they were actually on Morph Market, and you can see them. I got them from Steve's Morphs, who's awesome guy. I can do nothing but rave about Steve, and I do rave about him in that video as well. But the pair together was $1,500, and that was really my budget. I was looking for one female just under that number. So to get both of them, I said, I'll be there. I'll go do it.
I think you've done a good deal. That's dollars, isn't it? Not pounds.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
That is a fantastic deal.
Because that'd be what, 900 pounds, 950, 1,000, somewhere in there.
So yeah, you convert that to about 1,200 pounds. So you're averaging 600 pounds for triple het, which is pretty good actually, because over here you'd pay a lot more than that if you can get hold of them. If you can get hold of them, that is.
True. Yeah, that's true too.
You've done a good deal there. That's a deal. That's a deal.
Thank you. I was going to migrate back to the proper setup for the video in the studio, unless there was anything specific you wanted to.
No, I think it's been. I just love this. I know it's uncut and everything's live, but I just love it. It fits in beautifully because we're moving in and out of your facility. I think with the live shows, I think people want to see snakes. People want to see snake therapy. They want to understand what your projects are. If we can show us, if we have a strong enough signal, we can go in and out of these areas, and the snakes are up for it as well. I think it's actually quite nice to show off a few snakes, to be honest with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm like I said, I'm happy to. I never know. So for those that don't know me, a lot of my collection is building blocks for the future. So I don't have like something I'm just going to lay out and is going to blow your mind. But
I see the future. I can see I can see your vision.
Yeah.
And believe you me, it won't be long before, you're blowing us away with some of your genes already, but I believe it's only going to be a couple of years before you're going to have some serious snakes on your hands, big time.
Yeah, I should. Thank you. And that really has been the goal, kind of a delayed gratification. Forget trying to do 5 dominance. What can I do down the line with some hets? So I'll show you this pair here.
Mm-hmm. I mean, Justin's model, if you look at Justin Kabelka's model, he teaches us that patience and long-term has far more gravity going forward, far more momentum. And, if it's an easy gene to put together, the market's going to be flooded. If it's difficult, which the recessives are, and we take a long-term gain, we'll be blessed in the long term. Even though we may not take short-term gain, we'll take long-term gain in terms of what we're producing and what we can actually bring to the market. And I think this is the approach that Jared and I are taking. We're tempted to put out lots of visuals, but we're thinking long-term game here.
I agree. And I like also, just from a personal standpoint, some people like the color blue, some people like the color pink. I just happen to like the idea of the recessives and the challenge that goes into them. So that's sort of where I've been attracted to. So this female here, she is not breeding this year. She is a lavender, 66% het pied. So, nice. Going down the dreamsicle road.
I hope she proves out for you.
I do too.
She's big. She looks big.
Yeah, she is. She's like I say, she's 1,300 or so.
She's not far off. She's not far off.
No, to my point, this year though, it's not going to be this year for her. That's all. And I might not wait till the full next year, but I am going to wait for this little guy who is also lavender, and he's 100% het pied. or that triple het male that I just got, and I could go for dreamsicle het axanthics right off the bat, right?
Great options, great options. And you've
Yeah.
got your backup male. You've got your backup male there as well. So I think fantastic. People forget how important it is to have a backup male. I believe it's very important to have a backup male because a male won't necessarily give you the locks, even if you not go. I've got a couple of beautiful males that haven't done the business for 2 years. I'm thinking, come on, guys.
And that's the tricky part because whether it's food or snakes business, I'm a strong believer in sort of narrow, we call them SKUs, shelf something units, but a narrow a narrow and focused approach because things can just get out of hand. You don't need a restaurant with 200 items on the menu. You need, a handful of really great iconic items. And there's all sorts of financial implications to that. But to your point, having a backup male or a couple varieties or a couple options within each project is a line that I skirt and dance on sometimes. So we have to see.
Also, I like the fact that even though there's a strategy that says invest in your stud males, put your money into them. If you listen to Justin, he's got a slightly different approach to that. He said there's a time to put your money into stud males, but there's equally a time to put your money into stud females because they're the ones that produce the eggs at the end of the day. And a lot of us have what we call top heavy collections with lots of males and not enough girls, and it's not balanced. And you get someone like Billy off Mutation Creation saying he picks up some of his followers who come to him with problems and he has to restructure them and show them how to get a better balance. And it's really kind of interesting. So you want to get the ratios right. You want to get the backups right. But Justin was saying that some of his multi-het females have been very powerful for him going forwards because they're giving him eggs at the end of the day as well.
That was the other thing. So in that video on the triple hets, I talk about I would love to. I want to make a triple. Fine. Great. But it's not my immediate pressing goal. It's to have options and odds and backups. Okay, something doesn't work. Well, here, I got 3 hets to go with. It can go with any combination of those 11 snakes I already have.
Mm-hmm.
I bought the male and the female. Now I truly can. I'm versatile options is what I'm looking for rather than swings and misses.
Yeah, because with that girl, you can put 3 different males to her and produce 3 different visuals if you want to. So every year or every other year, whenever you decide to breed with her, she's got the capability of producing visuals from 3 different boys. So that's an interesting philosophy. I mean, a lot of people, I must admit, I've gone in and thought I must get some stud males because I've got all these females I've got that are up to size and they can do with some quality going into them. So my strategy for the first year was to get some stud boys in. So we've got 3 stud boys in this last year that are now ready to breed. The Dreamsicle boy, I've got not a lightning pied, it's an Axanthic VPI pied boy that hopefully will lock with us soon. And we've got Hercules, who's the clown boy that's got 4 other genes in him. Because I want to get the codoms in as well. Because it's a mixture between good recessives, but also don't forget you need some good codoms in there as well. So you've got to get the balance right.
You do, and yeah, let me on that topic. Let me look at. I've got 2 I can show you here too that are kind of neat. This male that I'm about to bring out is an Orange Dream het pied. That's it, and I guess I'll just say I got lucky. I think he's a pretty striking example of Orange Dream. He's big, but he's look how vivid and black he still is.
Yeah. Guy's big, isn't he, for a boy? He must be getting on for about 1,500 grams, is he?
Yes. Yeah, he's right at 1,500, matter of fact. And this guy he's one of those snakes that even when I don't need him anymore, this guy ain't going anywhere. This is my boy. His name is John.
Yeah. So what my theory is like a lot of people say you want to keep your boys quite small. And they say keep them between like 700-800 grams to about 1,200 grams.
Yeah.
But I bought a clown boy from a collector that was selling up his collection when I first got into this hobby, and his name is the Joker because we have a Batman theme going on in our collection.
Okay. Yeah.
So I thought I'd crown him Joker because he's a stud of an animal. boy, does he lock with everything. I mean, he was 2.2 kilograms when I
Oh,
picked him up,
yeah.
which a lot of breeders will say fat. You know, he's going to be just heavy. He's going to be lazy. You're not getting any locks from him. Do you know what? He's been our best breeder, and that's why I've got so many hets in my collection, because he's produced the hets, and he's a stunning, stunning clown as well. Even though he's just a single morph clown, he has set the rhythm of the room. He's my reliable male that kickstarts all the other pairs. So
Yeah.
he's worth his weight in gold just for that alone, let alone producing all these beautiful hets for me.
And that's kind of the story with this guy. So to your point about keeping them at a certain size or whatever it might be, this guy eats one small rat every other week, 26 meals a year and small rats. That's it. So I don't power load this guy. I don't any of that.
Yeah.
This is one of his babies. And I wish I had one of her siblings, because none of her siblings looked like this. And I bred him to a het pied het albino. So it's possible that this is a double het female here. Sorry, the camera's a little off. But
Now, yeah, that's really interesting, Adam, because did you know there's a doctor that can use this skin from the shed to tell you whether that's 100% het?
I have seen it. I'm
Apparently.
not at the point where I can where I'm
And it's not that expensive.
extra money, but yeah.
Yeah, apparently it's not that expensive to get it tested. But what I'm saying is, you know, there's an argument between yellow belly and gravel or asphalt, and I'm not sure what you're getting.
Yes.
If you take the skin and you give it to this doctor, whoever can do this, and they use DNA tests, they can actually tell us in certainty whether you're carrying 100. So we can actually get to the point in this industry where there's no guessing on the possibles. We can actually pinpoint it. If the price of those tests come down,
Right.
and it means a lot, because breeders go in and they're thinking, I hope this proves out to be gravel, or I hope this proves out to be a particular gene, and they spend 3 years on a project and find out it isn't. It's a lot of work.
Well, on some of them, it almost the price almost wouldn't matter. Take for example, what's up, Stephen and Courtney? Take for example that triple hat that I was breeding. So you spend, even if it's $200 to find out if you've got a visual double het or a double visual het coming out of it, you're going to recoup that cost just by saying it's a verified specimen, you know? So in some ways it's totally worth it. But
yeah.
I love how vivid this boy still is. And then this is his daughter here.
I mean, she's popping to me. I look at that and think, Mike, I love Orange Dream. Orange Dream is one of my favorite genes.
Well, and if you just saw the tail, you might even think it was clown. I mean, obviously it's not clown. You see the rest of it.
Is that 100%? Yeah, that looks 100% het for pied to me. Is that 100% het for pied?
It's not 100%. It's 66% het for pied. And
I can tell you, looking at that, I can tell you now, in my opinion, that's 100% het for pied. And the reason I tell you that, because I've done the same exercise with my snakes, is I've got a het pied clutch, and there's 3 or 4 indicators. Has it got a slight ringer at the tail at all?
Yeah.
Slight uplift with a bit of white at the tail. If there's a little bit of white at the tail with an uplift, which I think there may be, just a little bit. It only has to be a very, very small lift.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of a ringer. And then when you have... Yeah.
She's getting antsy. I'm going to set her down while you're still talking now.
And I think the other thing I'd look for on a het pied is when they start to have at the tail, when the alien heads merge more.
Yeah.
When you get that merging effect, that's also indicative of, I believe, a het pied. And I think there's a third one. I can't remember what the third one was. I did remember doing a video about
tracks.
it. The tracks underneath. Has she got tracks?
Oh, her tracks are Orange Dream and the het pied stuff. Her tracks are crazy.
Yeah,
but
I reckon you've got lucky there. Yeah.
Those connected alien heads, the way you were talking about, he's got the same thing.
Yeah, that's exactly. I think you've got lucky there.
Yeah. So
my opinion,
I kept her back. I sold the rest of the clutch because I went het pied to het pied, and I did not get. I got 7 eggs and no pieds, so I'm starting to question the mom. I paired her with a visual pied this year. Just to up the odds and see what's going on in there. And that boy, I bought him as maybe 300 gram, a 300 gram juvenile. And he's only, this is his third year. He's coming up on his third year.
He's going to prove to be very valuable, I believe.
I think so.
He's already producing very valuable snakes for you, so good move on the Orange Dream. I've got Orange Dream going through my collection right now. Orange Dream, Enchi, VPI Exantic, or any form of Exantic. I know that other people have got other types. They're not compatible, so you've got to be careful with that. But as long as you're consistent with the Exantic you're getting, you should be okay. But these are genes I love as well, very much so. Very much so.
Let's see. I'll show you one more just because I think she's a beautiful animal. And I'm really, to use a money term, I'm really bullish on this gene. So I may as well push it. She's a feisty, or can be feisty, so I'm going to keep my eye on her. This is a Candy. She is 100% visual Candy.
Beautiful.
And she's nice and clean and just a stunner in person. Like, she makes having a good camera just completely worthwhile. You know what I mean? One of those kinds of animals. But she's right at 1,000.
She's lovely. I love this because we were into the Ultra Male, which is very similar to this, and that will produce some wonderful animals. She's in great condition. Can I just say, your snakes are in fantastic condition, and they can see they've been loved and nurtured. And my hat goes off to you because not every collection can say that. You know, I mean, you're looking after these snakes. I know you've got 20, but they look like they're in prime condition, Adam, and my hat's off to you. You're giving them the right conditions. I can tell that just by looking at them, that they're in a very healthy state. They look great. I mean, they look healthy. They're socially connected to you as well, which makes me feel really impressed because you're spending time with your snakes, and you can see it on their faces. They're happy snakes.
Thank you. I probably spend more time with them, but not. Ironically enough, I spend more time with them because of my own inefficiency. I don't know if you and the viewers have seen the tubs that I use are these locking tubs. Because I have DIY racks that I'm happy and proud of, no problem with them. But to put in water, to do water change, to check on them, I have to physically pull them all the way out, unlock the lid, set them down kind of thing. And I think that forces some interaction. The other thing is that I use very little cocoa. Here in Florida, the humidity is high enough that I use very little cocoa. So I just use paper underneath. However, that means when I clean constantly because there's nothing to absorb the fluids and that sort of thing that I think some people do, but I don't. So I end up cleaning more often, which means I'm pulling them out more often and I'm handling them more often. So some of that's just a byproduct of the setup and the circumstances that I have, but the results are great. And I have to admit, I feel like I'm missing like a badge of honor. I've never been bitten. Not once have I been bitten by none of my snakes.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, I don't seek it out. I don't care to be, but I've never been bitten at all. So fingers crossed, maybe my next episode will be that clip right there, and then a snake hitting me on the cheek or whatever it'll be. So
well, I'll be honest with you. I went for nearly 2 years without being bitten, and then on my third year. This is the third year. I got bitten by a hatchling.
Okay.
It was my own fault. I wasn't fully focused. I should have come up behind it, and it was a brand new hatchling that hadn't been socialized. And I was filming at the time. I had one hand, and I was trying to do all these things. And
that's right.
I took my eye off the ball just for that split second, and it took advantage. And it was just a little pinprick. And I thought, okay, I've been bitten now. That's. So I'm very similar to you on that one. I try my hardest not to get bitten, but eventually you do get bitten. So it will come.
Jeremy says, come tame Xena for me.
Yeah, I know about Xena. She's got attitude.
Nothing about carpet pythons. I think part of the reason I've never been bitten by a ball python is that it took a little while to really judge or not judge, for me to decide that I trusted a snake enough to put it, to have it close to me. So some of them I've really worked with, but I've gotten to know my animals. I've gotten to learn kind of what makes sense and how to handle them and when to handle them. And then again, I'm really, really kind of a stickler about routine with these snakes. Once the lights in here go off, unless I'm feeding them, I don't come in. So if the light's on and I'm in, they know it's going to be social. If the light's off and I come in, they're looking for food, kind of thing,
Yeah. So you're ready for them. You know exactly, and you know your animals. And I think a lot of people looking on our collections, they often try and guide us as to what we should or shouldn't be doing, and they make one fundamental error, is they don't realize that we spend a lot of time with our snakes, and we probably know a bit more than they do on that side. Because it frustrates me sometimes when I get people watching my channel, and it's very uncut and live. They see all the problems, all the mistakes and everything, and then they tell me that I'm doing something wrong or I'm actually not doing something right.
Right.
And I think they might be right in some cases, and I put my hands up. I try to be honest and say, you're right, thank you for that. But there's so many people that out there that want to tell you how to run your collections.
Yeah. And I always try and frame things as, here's what I do and what works. I don't claim to be an expert. I just claim to have a little bit of 1 year of success so far.
Mm-hmm.
I have a heaping pile of happiness, I'll tell you that. And I've been blessed. All my hatchlings lived. I didn't get any slug eggs. All the eggs hatched. So I like where I'm going. I'm learning as I go, and I feel I have a good foundation right now to really kind of take a leap.
Yeah, no, I can see that. And you and I have been doing this for a similar time, haven't you? Because you've been, what, a couple of years in the hobby?
Yeah, I like to say, and this is a fact, but I like to say, 22 years ago, I had 2 ball pythons when I was in college, and I knew nothing about them then. So I wouldn't even say I was in the hobby then, but I had ball pythons, I had corn snakes, I had leopard geckos, I had a big aquarium. That was all in college. But I sold all those animals when I left college, and then almost 20 years later, decided I'd like to get a ball python, not even thinking about this, all this massiveness, but it was a snowball from there. As soon as I discovered YouTube and the ball python world on YouTube,
I think it's fascinating. And where do you see yourself going? Give us an idea of your future plans. And I know you've put out your goals. I know you did a beautiful video recently with
thank you,
Stephen, and so I don't want you to necessarily repeat everything there, but what's your overall game plan going forward, Adam? I'd be interested to know what your game plan is.
Yeah. And this is a little bit of a complicated, convoluted answer. I am in a really interesting point in my life. Those of you all that haven't met me before, I recently just left the restaurant industry almost completely, but I do some consulting now. But 25 years I worked in restaurants, and I've stepped back for a lot of reasons. We don't need to turn this into a therapy session for Adam, but I stepped back from day-to-day working. I'm in a financial situation where I'm good, I'm comfortable for a bit because of the hard work I put in. So I sort of envision this as like a little bit of a halftime break of my working career. Mm-hmm. And that break being this year. My wife and I have given ourselves 2022 to figure out if we want to try different things. So I spend a lot of time playing music, and I'm reasonably successful at that. But this is a year to figure out, can ball pythons be a viable income source? Maybe not my sole income source, but a revenue stream. Can YouTube provide that? Yeah, there's the Irish leprechaun. So my goal is to find out where it takes me. My goal is to treat it like a business this year, treat it as if my livelihood depended on it, because how fun would it be for my livelihood to depend on it? That would be an amazing emergence from this year. And to see where my passion is for it in a year, and my passion for work and career otherwise. Frankly, I needed a break from the restaurants, and maybe I'll feel a calling back, and maybe I'll go, thanks for everything. I am out, and I have found time for my family, my hobbies, my passions, installing sinks in garages that I show off to my weird YouTube friends. We'll see. So my goal that way, that's the philosophical goal. Let me give you some stats. This year, I hope I should have 5 to 8 clutches. Next year, I intend to have, just with the girls that you see coming up, I should have 15 to 18 clutches. Mm-hmm. You talked about me sharing some of my books and my numbers. I would like to increase my per snake average sale price. Any good business would like to generate more cash flow and ideally more profit. So I do want to treat it as a business. So I want to drive that up somewhat. And I know that can be alienating, but you all have seen my collection. There's going to be plenty of hets. So it doesn't mean that just because the average price goes to $4 or $5 that I'm still not selling $45 possible hets, but maybe I can sell some $1,200 beautiful female visuals, and that'll give us a nice meet in the middle. And I want to grow my YouTube channel. I want to find out how I can leverage that, whether it be with ball pythons or in future endeavors.
Mm-hmm. I think these are fantastic goals. I mean, on the point about, most breeders getting into this takes about 3 years to break even, is the average.
Yeah.
Now, if you've got yourself a target in year 1 to break even, I take my hat off because you weren't that far out of,
I wasn't. I missed it. For everybody that didn't see it, I missed it.
In your first year, that is unreal. I mean, even if you lost it, even if you lost $1,000 or $2,000, you haven't really lost $1,000 or $2,000. And now I can put on my accountancy hat and say, the accounting in the UK is slightly different to the US. So if we do it on a cash flow basis where it's money in, money out, it might seem as though you've made a loss. But in actual fact, you've actually made a profit without you maybe not even realizing it, because your profit's hidden in your snakes and hidden in your facility. That's and right. I can even go on to say that there's a hidden profit in you, in your goodwill that you're building, because you're building a business that is worth something right now. It's worth a lot more than it was when you first started, because number 1, you've got knowledge.
Yep.
Number 2, you've got good relationships. Number 3, you've got a beautiful collection building with some amazing potential going forward. Number 4, you've got the sales under your belt. You've sold all your hatchlings in your first year. I'm looking at your rack now. My rack's not that empty. I must admit, I'm struggling. I'm struggling to sell a couple, if I'm honest with you. I'm thinking to myself, Adam is like on this. I mean, he knows how to sell. I mean, so we can learn a lot from you. But the reality is, you're proving concepts. You're inspiring us as a community, and I believe this market's going global, Adam. Honestly, I do believe that when we get to the point where we're making $5,000 snakes, the shipping costs are going to be relatively 10-15% of the value of the cost. Now, if we love people enough that we want to buy for them, we trust people. That's why I think you and Gershon and other people that are setting up these channels going forwards are forward looking, because this is not just about keeping snakes, it's about building relationships. And Justin Kabelka's teaching us all the time, when we build a ball python business, you're collecting snakes, but you're building relationships on the way.
Yeah. And you are, and that is a great outlook, whether it's snakes, whether it's slinging burgers, whether it's selling cars, because chances are good somebody's going to buy another of the same thing eventually, but they're absolutely going to tell somebody about it, whether it's good or bad. So I agree with you. And one of the things, to your point, Paul, yes. So from a cash flow profit loss, there was a loss. From a net worth value of the business of unrealized gains, you're absolutely right. I'm just fine. Let's just say tomorrow, for whatever reason, something in my life occurred and I said, guys, I'm done. I'm out. The gains that I would realize from selling the collection or starting to sell everything off tomorrow, yes, I would be in the black and I would be profitable. So, providing income for a revenue stream right now, no, didn't happen. But I'm very happy with where I'm at, and use the expression proving concepts. I proved concepts to myself that this is viable to continue investing in, which is why I gave myself permission to buy those triple hets, because I'm now more excited than ever for what 3 years down the line will look like. So I've got Oh, I'm sorry. My battery is just about gone on this laptop. So
Okay.
why don't I switch back over to the studio, and
Yeah.
then I apologize. I've got about 30 minutes till I've got evening dinner here. We
No
will be in
problem.
about 2 hours then. So,
Yeah, that's no problem.
but
We really appreciate that you're taking this time out, and we've been going for an hour and 34. We've got 23 people that have been staying with us, and we really appreciate all you guys joining us on my first Premiere Live show. And thank you, Adam. You're making this so much easier for me. I really appreciate what you're doing. And can I just say that a lot of people are really impressed with your setup and your snakes. So thank you for sharing your facility and doing it close to it getting dark, because we know what happens when it gets dark. The snakes want to start feeding.
no, thank you. It's kind words from everybody. I will share the good with the bad.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a carpenter, as you can see, as evidenced by my ceiling. With enough screws and wood, you can make almost anything work. But I'm not pleased with my ceiling. So one of these days, I'm going to rip that ceiling out and go tackle it. And
can you show us the floor, because you did a video on the flooring?
I did. I do like the floor.
Let me see the floor, because you laid that yourself. I mean, that's impressive.
Yeah, I did lay that, and I figured one video about floors was plenty, but just humor me, because if we come back out here to the sink area, I also just finished laying that floor.
Nice. I like it that you're do it yourself. You get in there, and like me and Jared and I built the facility with some help from friends, our facility, and you do it for half the price if you do it yourself.
Yeah. Now, it might take you 2 or 3 times the time. But I do talk a lot in my videos about, because I am pretty cost conscious, I live in an area that is being, and there's a fair amount of construction around me. This is only 55 square feet where the sink is. I was able to get somebody to basically just give me that flooring, because it was left over from their project that they bought 5 to 10% extra for their whole house to account for errors. And they were like, I don't need that. And I was like, thank you, I'll take it. So my floors don't match, but I do have 2 floors in in my snake facility.
Apparently, Jeremy wants you to come over and install his floor for him as well.
I am a big fan of the barter system. I'm apparently not good at it, because I told Phil I would score him a sink for one of his double recessive visuals that he just casually posts on Instagram.
Yeah. Shall we switch over to your main computer now? Because I know the other one's going to die.
Let's
have a go. Let's see if I can get the technology right.
Okay. I'm going to hit you.
Oh, so sorry. Sorry.
No, we're good.
Okay. Adam, are you there? Okay, I've got to remove your second one now, haven't I? There we go. Can you hear me okay? Okay, so we'll let Adam resettle into his new setup with the main computer.
Okay, here I am.
Are you there? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
So, Paul, if I can, you've spent all day focusing largely on me. Can we flip the tables for just a moment?
Yeah, of course you can. Yeah, please do. Yeah.
So tell us about I love stats. I love seeing what's going on behind the scenes. Tell us about your YouTube channel. You're at 960 on subscribers. We can see that if we go look. What are your hours like? What are your goals on that? Fill us in on some of that if you want, if you will.
Okay, so I've got 3 YouTube channels, and I've got the fishing channel, which I'll tell you about later. I've had that for 8 years. I've got 3,000 subscribers on that. I haven't pushed it at all. I haven't pushed that at all. That's literally a couple of videos a year, building up friendships. And I do it, all my YouTube channels, the biggest asset to me on YouTube. So I'm not that worried about being monetized. My other channel's monetized. I'm getting peanuts from that channel. So there's no money in monetization unless you get really big, is the first thing. The money in the monetization side is you doing your own advertising on it, and you'll make more money selling snakes and building good relationships than you will. Unless you end up going absolutely viral and you do something amazing, do not expect any money off YouTube.
Yep. And
you'll get little bits. You'll get little bits. There's enough to pay for one season ticket salmon fishing on one of the estates that I fish, which is about a few $100. That's what I'm getting off that channel, and I don't put a lot of work into it, but I could make it better. In fact, now that we're doing this, I'm going to be using live streams on fishing, on my spiritual. I've got a spiritual channel, come follow
Okay.
Christ, because I'm also a devoted Christian, and
Right.
I've only just launched that this year because I've got a passion for sharing the gospel with people, and I feel I need to have a designated channel for that, so that people can come if they want to. I don't want to be preaching to people on this channel, but the same token, I will share. I'm a very transparent with my
Right.
beliefs, and I,
Share
if I
who
have
you are,
if I have
value.
if I have a spiritual experience that I think I'd like to share, I will share that on this on any. I mean, spirituality. You don't have a bucket for spirituality. You don't have a bucket for all these.
Right.
It's not like a hobby. It's you. You are who you are, and you
That's
have to
right.
be true to yourself in wherever you are, whether you're breeding snakes or you're fly fishing out. I take the Lord with me on all my journeys.
Yep.
He inspires me. He is the force behind what I do. Even though I love Star Wars and I love the Force, I use that in all the elements of my life, which is really God's love, and His power directs me in so many areas of my life. So I'm very open about and I want people who are Christians out there to feel they can come to my channel, any one of my channels, and talk openly on a private level with me on any spiritual problems they might be having, or any issues they may be having, if they haven't found a faith, or if they are seeking a faith, or if they're having a crisis of faith. They need a shoulder to listen and cry onto. I'm here for you. I'm here because the journey is not just about the snakes. It's not just about the fishing. It's about us.
Yeah. And
It's about us.
I always said at work, I've worked for the bosses that are like, you got to leave that stuff at the door when you're in here. This is this and that. Well, that's cool. But you know what? My sick kid didn't stop at the door. My need to pay the bills didn't stop at the door. My stress for wondering how I'm going to, get through this pandemic didn't stop at the door. And it's like that on the YouTube channels or in life. Yeah, we'll focus and keep a lane on certain things, but to your point, we are who we are, and we all are shaped by our own experiences, beliefs, views. But the other cool thing too is, YouTube talks a lot about people finding their tribe or whatever it might be. When you share shared core values, you're going to attract people with those core values as well. So I think it's healthy to do, and I don't think that there's I don't see a reason not to share some of that. From a business standpoint, with multiple channels, does YouTube monetize you as a whole as a creator, or it keeps the channels in separate buckets?
That's a good question. I don't know the answer to that one because I never tried to go
don't
through.
either.
Because I'm not monetized. I'm close. I think I'm going to hit the stats. I mean, I've got 300 videos in a year and a half out there. I've got masses of viewing time. Honestly, my viewing time is through the roof because
I was about to say, if it's not with your lives, it will be. If you got 23 people 2 hours in, I bet you're going to hit 50, 60 hours just on this episode.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I don't really look at the analytics as much as I should. I think I'm in a very relaxed. I think I'm too relaxed really. I kind of just want to build relationships. I see YouTube as a communication and love, showing love to one another. It's just part of my ministry to be able to love and serve each other. And if we can connect with each other for the right motives, not just because I'm not doing this to sell snakes. I'm not doing this to build up anyone's YouTube channel really, even though we are. I'm doing it because I love you as a brother. And I love my community, and I'm getting to know your community, and I'm enjoying this. And if there's benefits that come that we end up selling more snakes, and then we end up growing our channels, and we get out there and we reach a wider community, and we set. I mean, Gershon is a classic example of this. His motives are so pure.
Yes, his initiative for new channel initiators is phenomenal. I mean, really, it actually is very incredible.
He inspired me, and then yourself, him, and a few other people I've been looking at lives, and I've also gone on to. I've connected with a lot of your friendship base naturally, and they've connected with me, and I want to.
I see a lot of them here in the audience. Yeah,
I want to thank you for that because, you're surrounded by good people, and I feel like I'm surrounded by good people on my channel that have a similar style, similar interests, similar passion. They have dignity. They have good honourable standards, they communicate effectively. There's a loving community. I love that, and I respond really well in that environment, and I grow well, and it's good for my mental health. It's good for my long-term well-being for myself. And I think Gershon's the same. I mean, I think he's he really enjoys his channel and his show because for him it's his outlet, it's his opportunity to just, he works hard, he comes home. How he does it, I don't know. He does long hours. And I'm thinking to
He
myself,
does.
that guy's so full of energy. He's got to look after his snakes and his family and balanced. And I've got grandchildren, and most of my kids are old. I've got 5 kids that are virtually all adults now. But I'm at that point in my life now where 30 years in the accounting profession, I'm similar to where you are, where you think, you know what, I've really worked hard to build up what I have. Let's do something fun and different. Let me see if I can transfer my business skills onto something that I see the likes of Miguel and I see the likes of Justin. And I'm thinking to myself, I've been blessed richly in my life. Okay. Richly. And I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about relationships and knowledge and understanding of why we're here on this earth and where we're going. I've got a massive, massive, wide vision of where we are going and what happens after this life. And because of it, I treasure every one of you as you are my brothers and sisters, not just in the community. You know, we call each other brothers and sisters in the snake community because we are, but actually we really are brothers and sisters in a much deeper sense.
Well, and I think valuing people that way is important from a people standpoint, valuing people that way from a customer service standpoint, whether it's that we're selling somebody or not. I don't want to commandeer or hijack the show here, but
no, please,
a really quick story. No, there was and it all worked out well. So I'm confident in telling this because it's going to make somebody look bad for a moment. I had a recent video and somebody says, you sold out. I'm done. Goodbye. I tell you what, my natural instinct was to go, don't let the door hit you, you know? But I said, you know what? Hang on. If YouTube is a business, if somebody said that to me in the restaurant, I would chase after them and go, you know, what wasn't right? What did I miss? If you're gone, I can accept it, but I'd love to know why. And so I took that approach, and then I went and watched the video that he made that comment on, and it was actually about the floors, and I was like, oh man, the beginning of this sounds like I'm into the floor sales business. Like I just got a floor sponsorship, you know. So I learned. So first I went back to him and said, hey, watch past 30 seconds. I'm trying to help people get these floors for free, not selling any floors. But secondly, I was like, man, I got to be careful on my intros that I don't come across like, you know, this salesman that's just going to cram it on you, you know. But back to your point, if I didn't treat everybody valuable and value each consumer, not even customer, I might never make a penny off of that gentleman. And he ended up saying, well, you're right. Yeah. After 30 seconds, it was great. I was like, okay, well, I need to learn a little different there. So I agree is another way to take the valuing each person as an individual.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
brother and sister.
I have an eternal vision. It's not, I mean, I believe in a life hereafter, and I believe that we can be together as families and as friends. So every relationship I treasure because families are eternal, but also friendships can be eternal, and even pets. So even when we lose our loved ones, you know, people think that's it, that's gone. We lost our favorite dog, lost our favorite cat, left our favorite snake. If we love them, do you think that love's going to stop us from seeing them again?
I don't know those things. I don't know, but I don't not believe it, but, and I don't, you know, this is.
So my belief is that God entrusts us with the stewardship. And if we take care of the stewardship, the inheritance in the eternal world ahead, which actually in fact is this earth will become celestialized. In other words, heaven is right here. People don't realize it. There's no floating. God is real. He's a real loving father. We are his children. And we are brothers and sisters by definition. Now, I'm getting into my other channel at the moment, but I don't want to preach, but I want to just give you my perspective.
Well, and I would say at my point in my lifetime of a journey, whatever that means in this moment, in this body, I do believe in the stewardship, and I do believe in setting the best example that I can, whether I'm a leader or I'm a part of a team in another situation. I do believe in caring for what's around me, leaving something better for my son, leaving something better for the people that I've interacted with in life. And on that first step, I'm confident in believing that's entirely correct. And preserving rivers like the one in the picture behind you. sorry to tie back into music. There's a songwriter I really love called John Prine, and we lost him to COVID, but he wrote a song called Paradise, and the chorus goes, Daddy, will you take me back to Muhlenberg County? And basically the father says to the child, sorry, the coal company hauled that place away. Paradise is gone. It left on a train. And like, I get chilled. What a vivid picture to paint in a 4-line chorus. It's incredible. Yeah. So anyway, there we go. I've had my moment there.
No, I think it's beautiful, and you lead me lovely onto the shared hobby that we have. I know quite a few people in the community. I know Mark, and I think Jeremy, and a few other people out there have mentioned the fishing, because you can see my top on. My daughter bought me this.
I do like that. I was looking at. I was like, "What is that?" And I was like, "That is it's good. I want that." Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just add this picture in, if I may. There's me holding a pretty big fish, salmon.
Yep.
It's about.
There you go. I was going to say, take the comment down. There it is.
Yeah. So there's a salmon I caught in my local river about 6 years ago, and I've got that on my YouTube channel. It was a 31-pounder, and it was amazing. But what I also wanted to do, because I know that you're your own business in terms of you're building up your music business as well.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to, in the last 10 minutes, just share a couple of things with yourself, your community, because this has been a wonderful experience for me, Adam, and I've really appreciated your love, sharing your collection, being on the show, having that lovely natural interaction without really going to notes, but just letting it flow, and having the support of your followers, my followers, who are becoming one.
They are, yeah. I recognize, I should say this, if I may, thanks to everybody that I recognize. It's amazing. And then the ones that I don't recognize, I look forward to knowing you. And, Paul and I have clicked on several levels along the way, but several interactions in the ball python world. And anyhow, I'm excited for this part of his journey. And really what I'm saying is I'd love for you to follow me and check out my channel and all of that kind of thing, but only if you find it authentic, if it truly clicks with you, because I'm not after the numbers. I want the numbers, but I want the numbers of like the authenticity. I don't care about the fake numbers.
Yeah, Stephen and Courtney on their channel. Stephen's very good. He made the point on one of his videos. He said it's better to have 100 dedicated followers than 1 million people that really are passive and not interested and just following for following. And I think he talks a lot of sense there, because I think I would be the same way. If you had to go to battle, you'd want 10 volunteers to back you up rather than 100 pressed men.
Heck yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We got to get dirty. Like, I need people I can count on. Yeah, exactly.
And I look at some of your stats. I have looked at your stats as well. And I'm thinking, my goodness me, you're hitting some big numbers for a channel that's only just been launched, and you're almost at 1,000. You're getting some dedicated viewers that are watching you regularly. And that tells its own story.
Well, thank you. And I need to hear that sometimes, because it doesn't feel like it's just started. It's been 13 months and, a lot of work. I do put a lot of work into it, but it's also a calm. I know I'm not calm in my videos. It sounds weird. It's a lot of work, but it is calming work. I really enjoy doing it. Where did you get that? Is that you?
Okay. So this is. I thought I'd share you this one, Adam, because I think being a musician and being a star. This is a character I wanted to introduce to you and our followers. Some of our followers already will know this, because in the last 12 months during COVID, I basically came out of my shell, let my hair out, and I decided to become the rock star that's in me that has yet to learn how to play a guitar but wants to be a rock star.
Make it even better.
So, there was a rock star in me, believe it or not. I've just got to spend the time learning how to play the instrumentation. I've got the natural beat and rhythm, and I've got half a voice. But I reckon I could actually, if I had someone like you by my side, who would guide me and help me, I reckon I could join you in the band one day when I come and visit you in Florida and actually participate in some way.
Hit a note, let's go. I mean, you don't have to know how to play an instrument. We all come with a built-in instrument in our voice or our hands and a beat or whatever. But I would love it. No, here's what I really enjoy, Paul, is I love that there's the freedom to do. This is that same mindset I talked about at the very beginning of the show. What do we have to lose? So what if people laugh at the long-haired Paul with an inflatable guitar? Whoop-de-doo. We had fun. We're sharing joy with it. And maybe it'll hit, and maybe it'll endear yourself to other people that you'll connect with in the future. And that just in a nutshell ties up why I'm so excited about the YouTube portion of this hobby. And I love that it overlaps with the snakes. I love that it overlaps with people like you. I love this picture. It's fantastic.
Thank you. So interesting. Simon Millership, who has been following us from day one, who's a very dedicated fan on our channel, he just said, and that's what helped him get through COVID. It's videos like this. This is actually my thumbnail for one of my videos. And you can see me performing on the channel. Go check me out. He's called Aussie Dreams. Okay, so each of them have interesting names. And if I show you, Adam very kindly made me a slide presentation. I'm just going to show you some of the characters. What I'd like the viewers and yourself to let me know is on the next live, one of these characters might feature on a live, or he might do a show on the YouTube channel. So I'm going to show you 8 characters, and I think the one that puts up the most votes will get the next performance, whether it's on a live or whether it's going to be on my YouTube channel. So I'll just show you number 2. So thank you, Simon, for your comments. Actually, I've got here, come to Indiana too, Paul. I want to take you fishing. Oh, yeah. I'd love to join you there. But let me just show you the other characters. So here is Anna King Cobra. That one's for Jeremy and any other Star Wars fans out there. So we use the Force. So when I'm feeding my frozen thawed rats, we don't actually use tongs or hands. We use the Force.
Okay.
And so we pull out the drawers using the Force, and we actually pick up the rat using the Force, and we present it to the snake once it's in the S shape. And you'll see that on one of my videos.
All right.
We actually use the Force to do that. So I'm just giving you a sample. It's not all about snakes. It's about entertaining as well.
Yes.
Now, you might recognize this one, and ladies, you may want to shut your eyes because you're seeing me at my best here.
Paul, what you don't know that I don't share with many people, but we're knocking on 2 hours door here, and I am a huge pro wrestling fan. I adore pro wrestling, and I don't share it with many people because it immediately all the work I put into building trust and faith just goes out the window when I say that. Yeah. I love pro wrestling, absolutely.
I know Jared and I have a wrestle in the facility, and he kicks me really where it hurts, and it's quite funny because there's some characters. I mean, I'm showing a different side to me now, but
yes,
here's Rocky Balboa. So I dance and I fight to Rocky music on my channel. This is Lord of the Rings. So this is now this character is called Komodo Baggins. So these, by the way, all these characters are defenders of the faith. They're defenders of the channel, defenders of the facility, because our channels and our facilities are snakes, and sometimes some of our relationships get under attack from cyberbullies. So I've introduced all these characters. I have a red and a yellow card referee that comes on.
Oh,
so
good.
If anyone puts an out of place comment on my channel, they get a warning to start with. They might even get 2. But
Smart.
They can sometimes get a straight red, but I normally give people a chance to retract and reevaluate what they're saying.
Yeah.
So I kind of referee my own channel, but you don't really want to cross me because you're likely to be banned from the channel if you do something silly.
Right.
But then I've given people a chance to come back if they're repentant and realize that, I'm not going to ban you forever. I might ban you for a short period if you don't realign yourself, because I don't want any negative comments that are affecting myself or anyone else in the community. So I've learned how to control that. This is Ratman. So we've got Ratman, and there's just 2 others because I know we're almost at our 2-hour limit here, and I want to be able to close down with you. And his sister Regius. So there's your nun. So we've got a resident nun, and then the last one, who's quite a character, who does all our inspections on our snakes, is Sergeant Major Windsor. So I often have to inspect because we're a family business and the family get involved. I have to have characters to come in to Sergeant Major. We'll do an inspection on the facility, but also on them as well.
Right.
And all these characters, by the way, will sing songs. It's not just about they all sing different songs and characters, and there's dances and there's things going on. So if anyone wants me to come on the next live show dressed up, or want one of these characters to join us, or you want me to do a special video on my YouTube channel, I'll do it for you guys. But I want to know from our audience which character. Put the name of the character on the comments, and I'll pick up the one with the most votes gets the first priority.
Put me down for Macho Libre by all means.
Okay. Oh no, my kids are gonna hate that. I love it. But in fact, the little secret is Jared can do the part much better than me, but he'll train me. He'll train me to become a really good character.
Okay,
I think.
there you go. Yeah, you gotta get
yeah. Simon reckons that I should do all of them, but he likes Rocky. Yeah.
You should challenge yourself to learning video editing to the point where you could, have an episode with Major Windsor and Macho Libre. Maybe they have a little something that they've got to sort out and understand. Come to an understanding about.
I'm glad you said that, because I'm following someone who does that on one of his channels, which I really enjoy. Do you know the guy I mean? The Green Room?
I don't. When I was learning about, or still am learning, but when I first started editing, there was a couple people that were like, "Hey, here's how you do it," and I can't explain it or do it, and it's complicated enough that I've never been passionate about figuring that out. But it is out there, and it is doable.
I think there's quite a few bits of feedback coming through as well. So
yes,
we'll also, obviously, for people that haven't had a chance to see this, they'll jump on it tomorrow. But by all means, we'll take into consideration future comments after the show's over. But I guess really, Adam, I just want to thank you again for joining us on the channel. I know that your tea is waiting for you, or your dinner's waiting for you.
Yeah.
I want to say thank you. Is there anything you'd like to say or share with us in just the last few closing down minutes?
Thank you. Thank you personally for having me. The audience that I don't know or that I haven't met before, I hope to see you soon. I'm Proper Royals on all the socials I participate in, primarily Facebook and Instagram. Specifically, YouTube is my real focus, though. And I'd love to get to know you. And I do a live show every Tuesday night that really is very similar in this nature. Paul was leading the show today, but really, if this showed up on my channel, it would be very similar to what I would produce with my guests. So, let's see, this Tuesday, while I'm at it, this Tuesday coming up, the 11th at 8 p.m. Eastern U.S. time, we have Nemesis Reptiles on. So it won't be just ball pythons. We'll have Nemesis Reptiles on. And then Paul's really pushing me to overlap my different areas. So my music is Adam Shira Music, SHIRAH, Adam Shira Music, all one word. And if you, by some magic luck of coincidence, happen to be in the Florida Panhandle this weekend, I'll be at the 30A Songwriters Festival. The 14th, the 15th, and the 16th, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And Saturday is a double header. I got 2 gigs that day. And that's a cool, Paul, I got to tell you, I'm excited. The Black Crows are going to be there. Steve Earle, Emmylou Harris, Rodney Crowell, Indigo Girls will be there. I don't normally get to do that kind of stuff. So it'd be like if, Miguel and Justin were going to be on my show next week. Oh, by the by, which they're not. I'm not saying they are, but that's how this festival is. I'm just like, oh, okay, I'll go enjoy that. So that is in Destin 30A Songwriters Festival. But more importantly, on the ball pythons, Nemesis Reptiles will be on this week, and Gen Z Reptiles. We're going to talk some generational differences with these young buck breeders. And they're on in 2 weeks.
They're brilliant, and they want to do a live with me, I think, either February or March. We've got quite a few people coming up, because thank you so much for sharing that. What I wanted to say is, when I come and visit, you'd have to take me to one of your gigs and one of your shows.
Let's go to a gig, but let's also go fishing. I live here in Florida, and I got a room full of gear. We can surf fish, get on the flats, and there's not much fly fishing, but we can go after some bass too.
Okay, that's fantastic. I look forward to that. I'll bring the fly rods and we'll do some fly fishing. Get out on that ocean as well and do
That's
some
right.
game fishing would be wonderful. Now,
Yep.
what I was going to say, Adam, is just the way you shared your passion for us. I mean, you shared basically three passions tonight. You know, you still have a passion in the restaurant business,
I
but
do. I
it's
do.
on a more what's the word? Balance. You're more feeling more balanced and you're happy. You've
Yep.
got that under control, and you'll be able to give your expertise and support that. And I had a little thing I was going to share with you very quickly, which was here's one for you. So that's on that side. I wonder if I can add that to the stream. There we go. So I thought you might like that one.
I do. Thank you.
And then we had we talked about the musical side. So you've got that, and I think to me that sounds like one of your really really deep passions that you just have that outlet to get out there and perform.
It's
And
been
then
very good to me. I can't explain in the time we have how important music's been in my life and my relationships. Just one little piece is that I met my wife while playing music, and literally my closest friends in the world are musicians that I've known for a very, very long time, aside from the people I've met in restaurants. So there's just the tip of the iceberg on music, you know.
yeah, so I think when I come because we are planning
Everybody's
to.
welcome. This is a party. Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to come. Bring the fly rods. Maybe there's a few other people that want to join us. Go and actually listen to some good music. Eat some great food because I know in Florida you guys do some wonderful fresh fish food restaurants. I mean, to
Yep.
die for. I love fresh food, and you're connected to the restaurant
I was
industry.
gonna
So
say, I know I got
mean,
the hookups, and we'll go hunt for sinks. We'll go to the back dock. I'm telling you, back docks of restaurants are the gold mine. And all those restaurateurs think they're gonna fix all that old crap. They're not. You're gonna go buy it. Just be like, I want that and I want that. Here's the cash.
and I know we've got quite a few people who have been watching us tonight, and we've still got nearly 20 staying with us after 2 hours. So thank you so much, everyone. But I know that Mark likes his fishing, Jeremy likes his fishing. We've got other guys out there because we've also just found out. I didn't realize this, but we've also got the old devil Bull Pythons has invited me out to his place to do some serious fishing. So I'm looking
Yes.
forward to doing that. Can I just say thank you also to all our joint subscribers and followers who've joined us tonight, and particularly want to say thank you to you, Adam, because you've just been a wonderful guest and you've made
Well,
cutting my teeth so much easier.
my
And
pleasure.
yeah,
Congratulations for getting this off the ground. I know there was trepidation. I know that you were concerned about it. Keep it going. And this is a great, I'm excited for you. This is going to be killer.
thank you. Now, believe it or not, due to I think when I was on live with Gershon, who challenged me, he didn't challenge me actually. It naturally happened. I said to him, you, Adam, and him have inspired me to do this. And in that show, I put out a little invitation. I said, if anyone out there wants to do a live, please join me.
Oh, yeah.
And I'll just let everyone know what's going on with my channel in the next four weeks
Please.
on the lives, if I may. I've got Jeremy, who's joining us on the channel, Forest Morphs, who I'm connected to because we have a very strong Star Wars connection as well. And he's got a channel on Star Wars. So I'm
And-
looking forward the Force will be there, that's for sure.
And I'm sorry to interrupt, just to bump up Jeremy at Warfels. He's working on a live show as well, which he'll premiere shortly also.
Excellent. Well, we look forward to seeing that. We've got Angie and Jeff at Celtic Balls who have also just texted me. By the way, Jad runs my Instagram, which means that you're better off sending it to me at Paul Greenacre at Instagram because Jared, he kind of controls that side. And I think if you can send it to me, Paul Greenacre, I can then get back to you straight away. Otherwise, it might be a 1 or 2 delay because on the weekends, it's family time. I take care of the snakes. I protect his family time and I take care of the snakes. And I don't see him until the following Monday. So it's better to give me a direct message or I'll pass on my email address. If you want to be on the show, please do feel free to join us. We've also got Gershon. He's going to be joining us this month. So I've got the whole of January booked out. And Adam, you've kicked us off. And we've got 3 other people already lined up. But on top of that, we've got Stephen and Courtney at Leviathan Steaks who are hoping to be with us in February. But I've got 3 slots in February, so I like to plan ahead with these things. So anyone out there that wants to come on the channel and have some banter, have some fun, please send me a message and I'll be more than delighted to host you on the channel. And then you can promote your channel, we can connect with the community, we can build these communities. And it makes sense to me that we do this. It makes
Yep.
absolute sense. So thank you very much, everybody. We're going to close it out. How are we going to close it out, Adam?
I don't know.
Well, my Adam actually has made me a new trailer, which is about 30 seconds long. if it's okay with you, because we
Please.
started the opening with you,
Which was
maybe
very kind. Yes.
could we close out on my trailer? Would that be
Yeah,
okay?
yeah. I will
Okay.
say thank you to you and to everybody. I'm going to watch the trailer and then I'm going to hit it onto dinner. And Paul, I will see you soon. Thank you so much for hosting me today.
Thank you, Adam. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
So let's go for it. Let's see if I can find the technology if it's here. Oh, it'd be quite funny if it's no longer there, wouldn't it? Yeah, I think this is it.